And we're back. Are we back? Well, I'm finishing up this episode, and probably means that next week I'm going to be bogged down with the episode after. But for now, let's talk some more about the LVO from like a month ago. So hit it, Johnny, and let's do part 2, the final part.
Shall we move along then?
Let's move along.
The Star Master Slann with a plan.
God, I love this guy. He's so awesome.
You
It's
just
like
like frogs.
It's like if Jabba the Hutt got queer-eyed.
Oh God! Did you see that thing with the parents whose kid always got excited because it had their favorite character, and after like a week they worked out their kid's favorite character that they always ran up to kiss was Jabba the Hutt. Children are weird.
Cool. But yeah, this is just like it's everything the original one. Well, the
His
previous
cheeks
one
look like
was.
kidney stones, and I can't get over it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sorry, tonsil stones.
He's just everything the previous one was, but just a little bit more. Because that one, I'm pretty sure that one was 100% hand sculpted. That would have been done in the 90s. So yeah, it was limited by actual materials. Whereas this, it's just a bit kind of futuristic-y sci-fi, but still with that like and feel to it. I'd be remiss to say about it because I did put a post up on Twitter earlier, and a lot of people were saying to me that looks very fragile. And I have to say, yeah, as someone who kind of paints professionally and tries, I don't play games very often, and I don't have children running around that could like just like
Really?
the connection to the base looks pretty fragile. But I will say the more recent plasticky models do kind of hold together pretty well, even with those tiny connections. Good luck if you do have children. Bye. You're gonna have to like pin him on or something. I don't know. But
so now that you've mentioned it, I remembered I thought that as well. Something else I've noticed is that with second edition of Age of Sigmar, the Night Haunt, the ones in the box were all wibbly wobbly, but things like the Cruel Ghast Castigator or stuff that came out like after the initial run, they seem to have worked out how to make indestructible sprues that will also drive recasters into screaming fits. So I think with these flying models, part of it is them saying, look at what we can do and no other company can do in high impact polystyrene, because we are Games Workshop and we have a pretty damn good production pipeline.
Yep. And it's very cool. And oh my god, it is so good to see a Seraphon launch. For so long, my first army I say launch, there's more than one kit.
They look like they're gearing up for either a range refresh or a partial range refresh.
Yep, which they so badly need. I mean, there's some stuff that still holds up pretty well, but overall they haven't really had too much love over Age of Sigmar. You know, like the Underworld's Warband, yeah, so I mean, I want to talk about these Raptidon chargers because they are just so cute. They are adorable. These Raptidons, the little skinks, these new skinks are just adorable, and the faces of the Raptidons are like, they're so cute. They've got little masks.
Someone on Twitter did call them adorable murder chickens, something to that extent. Hey Tammy, how are you doing?
Getting hungry.
Raptor! Okay, so hey Tammy, look, it's almost a bird.
Almost.
It's an evolved bird.
I do love like giving dinosaurs feathers. It's they haven't really explored that before, but I think now that everyone knows, oh yeah, raptors actually had feathers and that, it's so cool seeing these versions of them, and they're just very characterful.
I find the idea that dinosaurs would have feathers a bit surprising, given that in my mind feathers evolved to help flying. Why would dinosaurs have them? Although now that I'm saying all this, unless the feathers were like a random mutation that then turned out to be good for flying. So birds got feathers because dinosaurs got skin cancer from the sun and developed feathers.
Well, feathers are also very good for regulating body temperature.
Oh.
Can I just say, if you look at that crest just to the left of the skink's head, that's very clearly a rumour engine we've seen recently.
Oh yeah, Kurgan. I don't know if anyone else knows, but the guy with a Blogspot account, it's that old, who's been keeping track of all the rumor engine stuff, and he posted on Mastodon. That we're running out of rumor engine pictures after this reveal.
Interesting.
We got a bunch of stuff. There was something that people kept arguing was definitely an orc or definitely a Skaven. No, it was the Warcry guy's arm.
Oh, okay. We'll get onto those soon.
So I'm liking. I remember the whatever version of Warhammer I started with was Bretonnians versus Skinks, and I sort of liked the dichotomy that the Skinks were goblins and the lizard men were orcs. And then it sort of worked out a bit differently, that the Saurus were definitely the subservient to the Skinks, which is weird because like the Saurus are just the Saurus warriors or the elite Saurus warriors, but the Skinks are like wizard, warrior, war machine operator. The Skinks do everything.
Yeah, they're actually the smart ones.
Mm-hmm. And I think they were like the first model. I don't know if they were the first models, but to me it looked like they were the first models to have skirmish rules, which now everything uses. Someone did a Skinks on square bases that were half submerged because they could move over water with no penalty, I think. And they could also break up into skirmish formations. So they had all their little skink models, and then one of them they like shaved down with an angle grinder or whatever and made the base look like it was underwater.
Very cool models. I'm seriously tempted. Like, once I've done my Iron Jaws, if I'm getting to playing Age of Sigmar a bit more, then I've wanted a Seraphon army for so long, ever since like I lost my original one from whatever edition fantasy that was, 5th, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 5th.
Yeah.
I do like the lore detail. Oh guys, this is totally just Kraknos, that guy you forgot that was supposed to be the Dragon Ogres, but then we didn't do a Dragon Ogres release. Yeah, no, this is just like Kraknos awakened some forgotten eggs, and the Skinks are like, oh boy, new friends.
That's cool.
Sure,
I
that's
do
all
like.
I love my dumb comic books, and I love my Primaris flash kits.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to. Have we got Warcry next?
The Battle Tome thing showed up. It's weird they're only sure about the Sephiron. I think one of the Chaos ones has to be Skaven. I should have checked. Okay.
Didn't Skaven have theirs last year? So was the new Skaven model.
I thought that was just part of BattleBox, but I could be wrong. My big gimmick is to point out that when I put show me everything order, I couldn't find the Kadarian Battle Tome. I had to go in and switch back to show me Overlords, and then I could see their codex. But if I say show me everything with order, I can see all the codexes except for Overlords. They will show you everything, including Cities of Sigmar, which we know will be Dawnbringers. They will show you Seraphon, which we know is getting re-released, but they won't show you the Overlord's Codex. However, if you then go into Overlords specifically, you can see the Overlord's Codex. So, Half-Life 3 confirmed. I mean, Overlords is the next Order Codex.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's all I have to say about the roadmap.
So yeah, one of the Chaos is definitely Slaanesh, and they badly need an upgrade. I hear their books, like my brother plays them, and their book is just so bad at the minute.
I should pay more attention to that part of the game.
They're getting a new hero from what we've seen.
They're getting the Storm model. Are they getting anything else?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but the Storm model's cool. And he has a mini boat. And I want to learn that the mini boat has some weird power to bring other boats into the game.
Yeah, I think the trouble was with the first wave of armies for Age of Sigmar, which kind of both of the dwarf factions fall into. They weren't quite making their archetypes broad enough and thinking in terms of like a range of models, because they work if you're collecting a small army, but both the Fireslayers and Caradron, they're known for having very samey options. Like, they're basically just the same character with like a bit of individual flair, a different weapon, something like that.
Without wanting to be dismissive of the 6 people who play Fire Slayers, they're basically red-headed orcs, right?
Fairly much. They are just like the Troll Slayers from Warhammer Fantasy, only
It's
just made into an army out of one unit.
It's a cool idea. I don't mean to dismiss the idea. I
No,
just
they've got a
think
cool
it's a fairly logical jump.
Can you not think of any other ideas that are outside of this one aesthetic? Make some models that look very different, but still fit inside the range.
I don't know if it was you or Vince saying that they definitely aren't selling as well as anybody would hope, but the designers like making them, so they keep getting them.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, oh god, I've seen a lot of interviews with people in the studio team. No, at least one or two of them were like, I love Fire Slayers, they're my favourite thing ever. I'm like, yeah, fair enough, I guess you want to keep on making them, but just like mix it up a bit, for God's sake.
I like science fiction movies. My Westworld, I liked The Expanse, I liked the movie Vesper. I will watch Marvel films once in a while, but no, hearing the models designers just like working on Fire Slayer stuff, even if nobody likes buying it, is adorable, but also depressing.
Yeah.
This is gonna be hell to edit.
Oh wow. Let's get on then.
Maybe we should... Hey, look, Warcry! It's another set of two groups of humans that I love but will never buy because the frickin' pile of shame is in my way.
Oh, I would love to buy this, but probably, I don't know, like, getting a box set like this is a big commitment in terms of...
Commitment, that was the word I
storing the
forgot.
stuff. But I am playing Warcry again. I had a game a couple of weeks ago, and that was super fun.
Okay, this will probably be edited out. Okay, let's cut out this 5 minutes of 6 degrees of Facebook mutual separation.
Okay. Well, shall we continue?
Yeah, we kind of need to wrap this up.
Because I'm realizing that...
Nearly 3 hours now.
So, yeah.
Funny thing about this, Eddie the host had to stop himself and rename the brand as Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry because he started to say just Warcry Vloodhunt, and then he had to stop and re-say the full title, which demonstrates either how scripted it is or how excited Eddie got about it.
Yeah.
Each side of these seems to have a monster, a weirdo, a boss, and some mooks. There's an odd symmetry there.
Those are my notes. I'm super excited about this. You've got, on the one hand, you've got soul-blight vampires who are like part of this monastic order where they refuse to drink blood and instead they go out and kill these wild animals and like try to resist turning into like literal like wild animals themselves, which is a really cool concept. And the other one, they're like furries basically. They love the bloodhounds. They love the bloodhounds of Khorne, which is cool because I love the bloodhounds of Khorne. They're sick. So they just dress up as dogs.
Oh god, we just said we were going to move on and I have 2 anecdotes already. GFD, I did not notice all those details on the Warhammer community article or when I was watching the replay of this. And the second anecdote is when the, whatever the hell we call squats are, when the squats were re-released, I marched my little socially anxious butt down to the Friar Lane Games Workshop store and assembled my squat so I could use them for Blackstone Fortress. And there was like a 7 or 8 year old girl over the moon about the fact she had gotten good enough grades her parents were buying her a tree ant, but she was also just squeeing at the bloodhounds. And that was an atypical interest, so I thought it was adorable. It stood out more than an 8-year-old boy. I'm sure 8-year-old boys squeeing at bloodhounds would be adorable as well, but it was just because, you know, it was an 8-year-old girl. It was like the time when we did the bases class at Games Work during pre-pandemic. They had to show up and we'll paint things and we'll give you paints to paint them.
All right, yeah.
And I remember at one point there were like 6 12-year-old kids and most of them were girls like churning out bases en masse. And the implication I got was one of them had a fish elves army and they were all trying to churn out enough bases for the fish elf army in this spurt, and then dad kept coming in and grumbling about the football game having been over an hour ago and he wanted to go home, and I was like, your kids are interested in art, shut up, go buy a pint.
Yeah. Oh no, but yeah, I'm really fond of this box set. The only thing I'm not sure about is the scenery in it. It's great, I really like it, but it's not as good as some of the previous ones we've seen.
So I'm looking at it with any amount of attention for the first time now, and it looks like the classic 90s corner of a building scenery.
Yeah, I don't like things when they stray too close to corner of a building. It's just like, I've seen it.
You know, if we had like full scenery, it could be like, if we had like a full little fortress, it could be slightly boring but understandable.
Yeah, I'd like to see something that you could easily accessibly do with layers and things crossing over and Warcry scale. That's really fun. And the fact the scenery is so good means you're limited in the amount you can get of it. And I almost wish we'd go back to Necromunda where the cardboard one, with the little plastic joiner things, you got so much in that. You could build so much up. Whereas if you wanted to build the same amount of these kits, you're looking so much money.
Someone's got a Kickstarter where they sell you like the door frames and the building corners, and the idea is you then glue it to a foam board.
Ah, okay.
Hi, Tammy!
Hi.
Right. Okay, what's next then?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little guilty because I worry we keep forgetting Tammy's here.
Yeah.
I like the new models. I think they're good new models. The only complaint I have about them was that the last iteration of Underworld's models for the followers of Cain, the last iteration was amazing.
Yeah.
These ones are just really good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. They're cool, but they look like, oh, this is just a squad of normal troopers you'd get. The last one was like, oh, here's an awesome squad of characters.
The last one was like me and the girls after we get the vaccine and nightclubs are back on the menu. This one's like, yeah, we're gladiator lady elves.
Okay. Right,
so we got the gladiator elves, and they're perfectly awesome. If the order had been flipped, and we got the gladiator lady elves, and now we got the one that's half snake, and the other three that look like they could beat you to death with their hair. Fine.
Okay. When we get
but
to
the rules look cool.
I want to just do a 2-word review.
Yeah.
Cool, isn't it? Or just something like that.
I think that's technically 3, unless we count isn't as a isn't being a contraction. I don't know if we count that as 1 or 2.
You can say in it.
I don't know.
Again, that's a phonetic corruption of a contraction.
Yeah. So it's the English language. We can do whatever the fuck we want with it.
What do you think you are? English?
A contraction is 1 word. You can't.
Okay, fine. It's a 3-word review, not a 2-word review. I'm happy we have more options other than not Stormcast, and if I didn't have a pile of shame, I would buy these and paint them up along with the snake ladies to have 10 whole snake ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on to the part that I know you're all excited about?
Come on, let's go. Move it along.
It's a tank and the gun looks like bot flies.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
but it's 30K. It's Space Marines. You're both Space Marine people.
Okay, move on.
I like the fact that we have a dog and a bird. I like the fact there's a tiny kill team board in the terrain.
The Arbites do kind of look like Misters of Battle.
I saw that video as well. I appreciate his position, but it was amusing.
They are very
Judge Dredd.
They are very Judge Dredd in the classic sense. Yeah.
The thing is, they are very Judge Dredd, but not in the same way that the previous Arbites models were very Judge Dredd. They both look like Judge Dredd, but in completely
But these ones
ways.
are like, what would be cool for Judge Dredd? And the last ones are like, I don't know, make it look like Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've got a couple of the old metal ones kicking about.
Yeah, I love now they've established those blocky shotguns with other kits that these have got them, because they were originally fairly much their trademark, or at least for most of the models that I'd seen. But yeah, now seeing them with it, that's the proper model. That I'm pretty sure the headdress on the captain is the original ones.
Yeah.
And just the floating loudspeaker orb is just so cool and sci-fi.
My God, my bro. They were talking about the loudspeaker. It hadn't occurred to me it was this skull floater, but it's not a skull floater, it's a loudspeaker.
I believe it would be referred to as a Voxcaster.
Yes, yeah.
So here's another thing where War Boss Kurgan said, oh my god, we're running out of rumor engines. So my first thought when looking at the RBTs was that, hey, someday I might want to make an inquisitorial retune for the inquisitorial lady that comes with a baby dragon. Hey, these look like a retune. And as I was typing that note down, Goth Eddie mentioned this as an option.
Okay, can I just say about the scenery as well? Get to the Dark Eldar scene. I love, like, I'm only just looking at it properly now, but I do love this little kind of, it's like a holographic display board.
I know!
Showing Base Hulk, and it looks very much like the classic computer game of Space Crusade.
It's so fucking stupid, and it fits in perfectly. It is the perfect... so the little scenery, I think, is the perfect mixture of so stupid and cheesy, you gotta laugh, but also, if you don't notice it, you think this setting is totally serious. This was something I loved about Fallout 2, the video game, in that all the stupid pulp cultural references, if you didn't understand... The rule for Fallout 2 for adding pop culture references was if you didn't understand the pop culture reference, you would just think it's more Fallout 2. But if you did understand the pop culture reference, you would be like, ha ha ha, we found a crashed whale from...
Okay. Well, rein it back in now anyway, because let's talk about Drakari quickly, because the scenery is very good, but this is getting on. It's been a long episode.
Valara guessed that they would just get an upgrade sprue. That was all they got, but also their upgrade sprue seems to be very pretty.
It is. There's some nice stuff.
Tammy and I are both fond of birds.
Do like a bird.
There's some cool, like, injection needle weapons, it looks like. Some new head options. Very nice. Right, so what else? Was that the last of the reveals then?
Yes. So this is... I was surprised there was no... So this is more of a production nerd. Oh, how is it 3 hours?
Okay.
How bad?
If this is a long talk for this section, then you might want to move it to another episode.
It's completely not a long talk. It's me just noticing there was no outro to this. There was no teaser of future things. There was no silhouette of a Space Marine. That's something Games Workshop usually does. So have they revealed everything they had to reveal? Or is the next set of stuff Lord of the Rings stuff, which I think they're
not going to get many reviews for the first quarter, reveals for the first quarter, I don't think. Okay. I think we're going to get a bunch of them in the second quarter for 40k's 10th edition, basically.
Because all these reveals are planned months ago, or is that because American accountancy ends in April? Do you know?
I couldn't say.
That is probably a more intelligent answer than I would give.
Mm-hmm. If you hate listening to us, but you're listening to this, then you obviously like the sensation of being angry. So please just put us on a loop.
Great in the hobby.
Constantly just fuel that rage.
Which ties in nicely the World Eaters Codex, which is coming out soon.
Yes.
We are the podcast equivalent of Butcher's Nails.
I have mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Although maybe it's because I've eaten nothing but donuts today.
I love all of the World Eaters stuff that's been shown. I'm just disappointed it's so small, and they've missed stuff like Corn Terminators are such an iconic thing. They've definitely got to bring them at some point. I'm guessing it's a reduced range because this is one of the ranges that were designed over lockdown fairly much, so it's kind of hard for them to have committed as much resources to it. I'm hoping now we've got a bit of distance away from lockdown, we're going to start seeing some more complete ranges from like next year onwards.
My big excitement about the World Eaters is the cultists, corn cultists, the jackals.
They are cool.
I think it was Eons of Battle who had some comment about he loves that there's all these just some guys in the new Chaos Space Marines army. It's like you have this 8-foot tall super soldier who's possessed by 3 demons, and running up alongside him trying to smack somebody with a stick is some guy.
Yeah. I really like the corn cultists, the jackals they've done.
They do.
Part of me wishes that they'd integrated the corpse grinder cults from Necromunda into there a bit, because they're supposed to be like porn worshippers, and they've got those cool like rotary saw things.
I mean, you could integrate them anyway and just run them as
Oh yeah,
porn cultists.
yeah. Good having more options. It would just nice be, you know, there's 2 types of human followers. Then would have been good, but
Well, I think
maybe
most of we
future
can
codexes.
assemble like 4 types, can't we? Because well, I can assemble 4 because I've got the 6th edition Chaos Cultists, and I think you do too.
Yes.
And
I've
then
got those.
there's the eyes wide shut looking cultists that started out with Blackstone Fortress, and then there's the Traitor Guard and the Dark Commune, and then there'll be the new ones.
Yep. Plus, there's also plenty of human followers in Age of Sigmar that you can convert up for any god, really. I really like the Karak Acolytes as Zinch cultists. Yeah. Anyway. Right. Okay.
Hey, Tammy, I'm sorry you're tired, and Aimee, I'm really sorry you're in pain, and that isn't quite getting through to my
Tammy's also in
brain.
pain.
Sorry?
I'm sure Tammy is also in pain.
That too. And hungry.
That
I'm
part
tired,
hadn't occurred-
hungry, and in pain.
Right.
Yeah.
This has been fun, but it's also been very long. My sympathies to Peter on the editing end. I hope this comes in a coherent format to people and they've enjoyed. Right, well, good night, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed, and see you all soon.
Take care.
Bye.